Welcome to the Abundance Journey, the show that helps spiritual entrepreneurs create an abundance mindset that accelerates revenue. Here's your host, the Abundance Ambassador, Elaine Starling.
What if the business that you've been trying to build is actually the one that your soul has been begging you to remember? Welcome back to the Abundance Journey, where alignment meets action and your purpose stops playing small. I'm your host, Elaine Starling, your Abundance Ambassador. And today we are flipping the script on what it really means to be successful. Because really, let's face it, the world we're living in right now celebrates burnout and busyness like they're badges of honor. But today's guest, she's not here for that hustle and hide your truth energy. She's here to help you honor your truth and build a business that finally honors you back. Mel McSherry is an international life and business guide. She's a master at merging human design with real world results. For the last 15 years, Mel has helped inspired but overwhelmed entrepreneurs slash the stress and ignite their soul-led strategy. Mel is a force of clarity, purpose, and profit. If you've been craving a business that really feels like you and a life you love, well, this conversation is the reset that your nervous system has been waiting for. Mel, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Elaine. Can I just have you follow me around all the time with that? You're like at my little sandwich board with a bell. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, your energy is so good. I mean, as soon as we joined forces here, it was like hard to start the recording because we were having so much fun, right? And the challenge there is your energy is so good. I want to make sure that we connect our energy, yours, mine, with all of the listeners and viewers, as well as the God of your understanding, which I call the divine. And so I've got two techniques that we're going to do to make sure that happens. The first thing is we're going to take 3 long, slow, deep breaths together. And as we breathe in through the nose, think the words, I am. And as we breathe out through the mouth, think the word consciousness. Then after the 3 breaths, I'm going to set an intention. I'll share an intention. An intention, I like to point at my heart when I say the word intention. It's how we want to feel as we create this experience together. And understand we are now creating a brand new reality. From this point on, this is our experience. And so it's almost like we're typing into a spiritual GPS. Hey, Divine, thanks so much for joining us. Here's where we're going. Going to be a great trip. That's kind of what the intention's all about. Now, after I share the intention, we're going to hold it in silence for 78 seconds. Because that gives the divine enough time to lock into that higher vibration that we established with our intention. Now, it can be really challenging as a human being. I struggle with it to hold that for 78 seconds. It feels like a really long time. So what I found 2 techniques that really work. The first thing is pick 2 or 3 words out of the intention that just feel uplifting and expansive and that high vibration that you are now adopting as your new norm. And I repeat those over and over again in my mind to just hold that vibration. And then the second thing I do is I notice what's going on in my body. Because sometimes I'll get goosebumps or a rush of heat or an image will come in. Anything like that is just a sign that the divine has locked into that new vibration and is ready to play with us. So, speaking of ready to play, shall we?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Let's start with our 3 deep breaths. Breathe in, I am. Breathe out, consciousness. Breathe in, I am. Breathe out, consciousness. Breathe in, I am. Breathe out consciousness. In love and light, we are so happy and grateful that we boldly lead our lives and businesses in alignment with our soul's design, trusting our inner authority and acting from clarity, confidence, and joyful intention. Thank you, Divine. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done. We give thanks, and so it is. Wow, that was really cool. I don't know what came through for you, but one of the messages that I've received from the divine before is that we are here to have fun and feel good while benefiting others, ourselves and others. It's an inclusive, it's a game. We're playing a game. And they're like, you're supposed to have fun with this. You're supposed to really like it. It's a good thing that you're here.
Yeah.
So, and it was just very clear. I loved that. That was so good. What happened for you?
It was a lot of an activation. I could feel a lot in my heart and in my throat chakra of just, so I know we're going to talk about human design, but those are two of my open centers. And so to have those be buzzing in a way that is from a way of receiving and not from like cloudy, that kind of constricted feeling that a lot of us can feel. I just felt them both just really open it and start to buzz, which means we're going to have a really cool conversation. And I'm very aware of also my defined centers of how I'm grounded in my roots and having that be how we can play. You've mentioned that already several times of how you and I are going to be able to play together inside of this conversation with the way that we're designed.
And isn't that beautiful? Just in framing something as play. I did this several years ago. I stopped saying I'm working on things because I don't work anymore. I noticed that every time I used the word work, it felt heavy. It felt like it was all on me, like I had to figure everything out. And it felt like I have to. Ugh.
Yeah,
it's just
that
so
have
heavy.
to is,
and instead, now I play with things. I play around with things, and it's really fun because then I get to play with other people too. And there's no wrong answers. We're just experimenting, throw it against the wall, see what sticks. We're having fun, right? So it just opens the doors. It becomes limitless.
Yeah, I love that. And it's so interesting because that is how we're designed to be. And yet we are taught that we have to just find the one thing that's going to fix everything. And, don't try. It's that thing of, well, you should just know what to do. It's like, well, yes, you do. And even inside of what you still need to experiment so you can know more. My grandfather used to always say, you don't know what you don't know yet. And it is that thing of when you play inside of those spaces, that's how you really anchor in what you know and receive that information of what that next knowing is.
Yes, that is so powerful. Well, I want to get some background, Mel, because obviously you're incredibly passionate about this and you're darn good at it. So kind of what got you started on this, and why is this like your mission? Why is this what you're all about?
So, human design actually found me in 2020. I was in a really interesting crossroads in my business. On paper, I looked quote unquote successful. I mean, this is already going to encapsulate a lot of things we've already mentioned in the first 5 minutes of this episode, right? Yes, I was making up to six figures. I was being paid to travel and speak all over the world. And yet, I had never felt so disconnected to something I loved so much. And I didn't understand where that disconnection was because I was doing all the right things, right? I had the seven-figure expert telling me what to do. I was copy and pasting like the master student that I am. And I was receiving those financial rewards. But what I was slowly but surely losing was that mental and emotional profitability points. I was negating my natural tendencies and my natural design and trying to coerce or mold myself into who I thought I needed to be in order to create what I wanted. But I didn't have the vernacular for that, right? We've all had those feelings of this feels weird, but I don't know. So I'm just going to, go for it. And sometimes we tend to chalk it up to a lot of the one-liners that I don't necessarily think are helpful. Like, oh, it's just outside your comfort zone, or, oh, it's, X, Y, Z. And I was really struggling with where I wanted to go. Because again, financially, lovely, internally, a mess. And so I ended up going to my very first spiritual retreat in 2020 in Sedona, Arizona, which is my happy place. I spent most of my childhood and teenage years in Arizona. And it was there that one of the other attendees was talking about human design. And I'd heard it before, but the universe does that funny thing where it gives you the pings, but then when you're actually ready, yeah, exactly.
Anybody home? Hello?
Like, hello.
Anybody home?
4 times the charm. And so she was talking about it, and she gave me the link of how to look up my chart. And I read my chart and just sobbed because it was me. It was that validation and confirmation of what I knew to be true, but didn't have the proof of. And with that, the vernacular, so I knew how to advocate for how I am designed to create the business, the money, and the life that I want. And through that, and obviously a lot of the other beautiful practices that we did throughout that entire weekend, I came home. I'm in Chicago, Illinois, to a almost 2-year long lockdown for COVID. I need to work on me. I've never spent time dissecting and understanding and connecting to me. I had always just asked people to tell me who I needed to be, and I did it beautifully. And that's very prominent in my design of how I was able to do that. But to really understand who I am as an individual, how I am designed, where my energy comes from, and so forth. And so when I got home, I blessed and released my traditional mentor lovingly, and I spent 2 years incorporating the beginnings of my human design. And throughout that journey, as I was continuing to coach my clients, I like sporadically sprinkled it in with them, because I realized what a powerful tool this is. Like, how cool is it that you can look at something and go, that's for me. Nope, that's not for me. Oh, that's kind of for me, and I know how to customize it to me. Like, we don't have that, and yet we do. It's in your human design. And so that's when it became really apparent that I needed to step out of the spiritual closet, which I did proudly on LinkedIn, fully advertise that this is an initiation tool that I use in my business and life guidance. And it's been such an expansive and beautiful journey ever since, to see clients who come to me who have been spinning their wheels trying to be somebody that they're not, or trying to throw things that stick that they shouldn't even be throwing to begin with, to all of a sudden have that validation and confirmation of what they knew to be true, and the awareness of where they've gone too far, and it's those little things. Right? Brendon Burchard has a great quote I say all the time that I'm shocked is not tattooed on my body yet, which is, it's the little things you do every day that make the biggest difference.
Yeah.
And when you start to incorporate your human design, it becomes that proverbial snowball effect, to where the fluidity of who you are inside of your spaces and the ease in which opportunities, profitability, mentally, emotionally, and financially come to you is game changing, and definitely need to be preached and practiced.
I think so. And it's a process. It's an unfolding
It's a process.
Now, I have this question that I ask every single one of my guests, and I never get the same answer twice, which I absolutely love because,
Beautiful.
hey, abundance is unlimited. So, given the work that you do and given the kinds of people that you work with, how do you define abundance?
I define abundance as actually it's been inspired by just the conversation we had, as that magical safe space that is always available to play and receive. It's that constant magic, and I don't know, I'm just seeing now just like children playing, right? It's just that energy, that connection of you are a limitless being. Therefore, what you receive is limitless. So being able to see abundance as a space where you will always receive your highest good, your most profitable intentions, your most profitable opportunities, and know that you don't have to define it to receive it. That to me is abundance.
I love that. You don't have to define it to receive it. I'm writing it down. In fact, I'm writing down a lot of what you're saying because it's so darn good. I take notes because you don't realize just how much genius you share with us. And I never know exactly where the insights are going to come from. So, yeah, I take notes all the time. You don't have to define what it is. Is that what you said?
You don't have to define it to receive it. And I'm shocked I actually remembered that I said that, because 9 times out of 10, whenever it comes out of my mouth from highest good, I tend to not be able to recall
I'm the same way. I'm the same way. So given that you've been working with lots and lots of people over the years, if you step back and you witness, what are some of those common symptoms that you think are really indicative that people could benefit from this work that you do?
I would say probably the biggest one would be that drive to prove their value or prove their worth. And on the kind of more structural side, the things that they should do or should have in order to receive those opportunities. It's the shoulding, right? We probably talk a lot about that because it is so easy for us to get overwhelmed by everything we think we need to do in order to be successful. And it's that pressure, you mentioned this to me, it's that pressure to do, it's that pressure to produce, it's that pressure to look busy, to prove your value and your worth. And a lot of the times, especially for myself, when I read my chart, I'm what's called a projector, which means my energy is very low. And I'm also what's called a hermit. So I am like the restful.
I would not get that from you. I would not get that from you at all.
That's because I'm feeding off of your energy. That's the joys of a projector, as we take in energy from others. And I didn't know that at the time, and I was slowly but surely burning me out, right? I'll be completely honest. As soon as we stop recording this, I'm going to have complete silence for about 15 minutes just to get rid of this lovely energy, but not my energy, right? And it's those little things. And so it's that proof, especially for those who identify as women or assigned female at birth, that, oh, well, I have to, well, you mentioned that earlier, do this, or I should do this, or I need to really prove that I am worth X, Y, Z. And it's in that thinking and in that cycle that we get so lost on the natural profitability that we already encapsulate. Like another one of my favorite quotes is, you have everything inside of you to answer the call of your soul. You just have to find it. You are your greatest resource and your greatest profitability points. And what we need to retrain ourselves how to do is stop looking for the proof in the action or the proof in the productivity, but more in the profitability and the proof that we naturally have and utilize every single day.
You know, I absolutely love what you're talking about. And there's something that you said that I wrote down early on in the conversation because it was so powerful. You were talking about, I had the financial ROI, but I didn't have the emotional or mental stimulus ROI. It wasn't really aligned with me. And I think one of the biggest challenges we have when we think about abundance, people typically just go, it's the money, baby.
Finances, yeah.
But it's a way much more than that. It is your relationship with yourself. It's your relationship with other people. It's your relationship with how how you express yourself in the world and the value that you create just by being who you are. Not that there's a specific output that you created, but your presence is really the value. Now, I've noticed a little challenging thing for me, Mel. Maybe you've noticed this too. Whenever I want my outside world to change, something has to change inside me first. It's a real pisser that happens, but I can't get away from it. So what is it that your clients have to be willing to change in order to experience that transformation that they crave?
Oh, that's probably a whole episode in itself, because inside of human design, we have different areas that scream louder than others, right? I was mentioning earlier about my throat chakra and my heart chakra. In human design, those are centers, and those are really big pieces of your human design chart. And that's actually the spot that I love to nerd out on the most, and where I feel 9 times out of 10, I continuously go back to for myself and with my clients as well, because it's that mental and emotional profitability points that live there. And by the way, when I do talk about profitability, it is always threefold: mentally, emotionally, and financially. And I want to make sure that that's stated, because to your point, people, when they think of profit, they think of money, and they think, oh, money is, going to fix everything, or I will rest after I get $7,000. How about you rest while you get $7,000? Like that's a thing. But I would say probably one of the bigger things I come up against is that they should not deviate from what they're told to do. I mentioned how I was like the copy and paste majesty back in the day, and I thought that's what was going to give me my profitability. And we're taught that a lot. Like we see it in advertisements of just follow these 5 things and you'll get 60K in 60 seconds, right? And then when we do that and we don't receive the 60K in 60 seconds, we instantly go, well, what's wrong with me? What we don't do is we don't ask, well, what was wrong with that system? Because that system was designed for that person who designed it. It's not designed for you. So it's that reframing of, no, you're not lazy, you're not crazy, you're not, a misfit or a rebel. You are you, which is gorgeous and perfect. So let's understand you and take those bits and bobs, that feedback, and understand how to customize it for yourself, or how to bless it and release it so it doesn't mess up the rest of your system. So I think it's this need, or it's this pull to be able to just find the one thing and be done with it. And to your point, no, it's internal first. If you want to change your external environment, you do have to work on yourself internally first. And it's that consistent cycle that you have, because as soon as you go to that next level, your environment shifts, and then you have another swarm of, funness.
You actually reminded me of a story about my nephew, Brian, when he was a little bitty guy. He was like 8 years old. And my brother taught him how to ride a unicycle. Now, I stink at riding unicycle, but Brian took to it like, a duck to water. And so I asked Brian, how do you do that? I mean, you're so good at it in just a short period of time. What are your hints? What are your tips and tricks? He said, well, you just have to do 2 things. You balance, and then you wiggle a lot. And I was like, you know what? Balance isn't just like, boom, you're one and done. Balance is you're constantly wiggling. That's what balance looks like. That's what human design looks like. That's what spiritual alignment looks like. It's the wiggling. And we all think, oh no, I can nail this and then I'm good forever. Nuh-uh.
No. No. And I'm glad that it's not like that, because how boring would everything be? Like nothing would have ever gone to that next level. And there is, even inside of human design, there are a couple of indicators that people's lives is a constant trial and learning. They're called martyrs. My son is one.
Ooh.
And there can be some frustration of like, I always have to put it into play. Yes, but you can put it into play.
Right.
Not, now I need to try this. Oh God, well now I need to try this. It's reframing those things of, it's not the fact that you are constantly, messing around and finding out. It's more of, ooh, I get to experiment in this day. That means I'm going to learn something new and I'm going to make it even better. Like it's how we can pull away from this whole trial and error, failure and success, to it's putting it into play. It's experimenting because that's how we learn.
I love that. Because the thing that you brought up for me, Mel, is this idea that it's almost like when you go see a movie and you love the movie, so you see it 10 times, right? And every time you see the movie, you notice something different, right? Even if you end up memorizing the whole script, you notice the costuming differently, or you notice the pacing, or you notice the set design, or you notice, there's something else to notice. Our lives are so rich. There's this thick, deep, meaty yumminess in life. And we think that, it's just this one little superficial layer. No, there's a lot more to you. That's why you're so incredibly valuable and so amazing. Now, there's a lot to human design.
Yes.
And I love the whole thing. What are one or two little small steps that we could take to just kind of get on the right track?
Yeah, I coin human design the ultimate onion of personal development because there's many layers. So I will say this: if you don't know your human design, here's a general way to just start connecting to yourself, and that is start to honor your energy and your time. So often we just look at it as these very transactional, structural things. Okay, time management. Time management is beautiful, but also we are energetic different all throughout the day. And so I would encourage you, without judgment, which I know is easier said than done, to track your energy for one day. When are you the most energetic? What things lit you up? What things pulled you down? And from there, are there shifts inside of your routine that can honor that energy? I know for a lot of clients, the number one thing that people kind of gripe about is that they're not morning people. I wish I was a morning person because all successful people are morning people. No, just because they wrote a book about it does not mean that all successful people are morning people. And when I would ask them when they're the most energetic, a lot of them are night owls. And I'd be like, great, so let's shift your business hours to reflect the times that you're the most energetic. You are an entrepreneur. You have full say on how you spend the time that you have. Let's step away from this 9 to 5 BS and let's really schedule something that is in alignment with you. I would even go a little bit further to your creative energy. Are you somebody that likes to be creative? Are you inspired on the spot? Are you inspired and then you write, a month's worth of content? When you start recognizing your natural flows of energy, already that is your human design putting itself into play because we naturally utilize it. We just go too far. Now, if you understand or at least are aware of your human design, a lot of places I like to say that you could start that gives you a bit more of a like a circular view. A lot of times you see like, oh, I'm a generator, so I've already started making decisions just based off that information. Ooh, okay. And again, layers, onion, like you are this type of generator and only you are this type of generator. So having that energetic information is beautiful for those who have a ton of it, gorgeous. But it's honing it down a little bit more. And I would say the next step is to look at your authority. How do you make your decisions? Because that in itself rearranges a lot of your pace inside of your business, your consistency, quote unquote, some consistency inside of your business. And it gives you, again, a better energetic view of how you are and what are your best practices to create what you want. And those are the baby steps that I think anybody could start applying now.
Those are brilliant. Those are really brilliant. Now, Mel, you generously offered a wonderful free gift. Could you tell us a little bit about it?
Absolutely. So I know human design comes with a lot of questions, with a lot of, okay, now what's? And I love to hold space for that. So for that, offer complimentary 30-minute virtual coffees. No sales, no pressure, just space held and to process with me. And you can schedule one of those at virtualcoffeewithmel.com.
And I'll make sure that the link is in the show notes too, along with all of Mel's social media links and her website, all that stuff. So you can hunt her down because, boy, this lady's a keeper. Now, Mel, one of the things that we always do, we love to turn the tables on our guests because we know that when we give is when we truly receive the most. So what can we do to support you?
Oh, thank you so much for that question. One of my favorite things is I love to write on my newsletter. So if you love hearing me and my voice, because I write the same way that I talk and would love to learn more about human design and follow me along my journey along my clients, you can definitely sign up for my newsletter at melmcsherry.com.
Awesome. Well, you have left me with quite the dilemma because I have several pages of notes. And now
I'm happy to come back, Elaine.
Yeah, no kidding. I think I might just keep you for like a week or two. You don't mind, right?
No, I'm sure my kid can fend for himself. He's fine.
Man, what a dilemma. What a delightful dilemma. This has been magical. Mel, I can't thank you enough for your time. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for the invitation and this place to play. It was absolutely magical.
It has been. And there's more to come. Stick around, everybody, because we're going to activate abundance in just a moment. Man, Mel is such a treat. This lady just gets it in such a wonderful, rich, amazing way. And I love the way she explains things. She expresses herself so beautifully, so magically. So step one, when we activate abundance, is always gratitude, because you never know what magic is about to walk in the door. And boy, Mel is magic. I mean, pure magic. She was awesome. So step one is gratitude. Step two is acknowledge something you heard that was a little aha for you, a little insight, a little nudge in the right direction. Well, I had to combine a couple things because there were so many, I couldn't pick just one. She was too generous. So I loved her definition of abundance, where she said, the key thing about abundance is you don't have to define it in order to receive it. Yeah, we don't have to define it in order to receive it, because abundance shows up as a kind of energy. And then that energy morphs into the physical stuff and the experiences and the relationships and all of that. But it's when you're in that zone, like we talked about play, when you have that kind of attitude, everything becomes abundance for you. And the other thing that I wanted to combine with that is the whole focus on energy. Because man, Mel nailed it. Your energy is the biggest asset you have. And you are a powerhouse. You are creating this beautiful light that inspires and uplifts and emboldens everyone around you. You are fulfilling who you most need to be for yourself first and foremost. And as you do that, you give everyone else permission to be their best selves too. So I'm doing a combo here with acknowledge. I'm acknowledging that I don't have to define abundance before I can receive it. And my abundance shows up as energy. And I can pay attention to my energy, and I can own my energy. I can direct my energy where I want it to go. That's kind of really cool. So step three is to appreciate the difference it can make in your life. Well, when you know that that's what abundance is and that I have total control over that, yeah, I can pay a lot more attention to those experiences, those the nutrition that I eat that gives me energy, right? The meditation or hypnosis or anything that adds to my energy. And I can remember to direct energy where it is most needed, because we are conduits for the divine. Whole other story that I didn't get into. The divine told me we are guiding you and you are guiding us. So yeah, where you put your energy really matters. It's not just you, the divine's going there too. So step four is to activate abundance. This is where we take a concept and we turn it into a tangible physical reality. I found 3 ways that help make that happen. The first way is schedule time to get it done. Well, this is the kind of thing that it's not a one and done, but I count journaling in this too. And I loved what Mel was saying about really pay attention to how you're feeling energetically, whether you're feeling full of energy or you're kind of drained or you're sort of neutral, and track your energy for 24 hours. Just notice how you feel in your own body. So often we get stuck in our heads and we're just not really paying attention. I find that when I journal, I can get all that stuff that's flowing through my head out onto the page, so I get an objective perspective and I can really see what's happening and see where my energy is going. So that's one way to activate abundance. The second way, create a physical trigger like crossing your fingers or tugging on your earlobe as a reminder, hey, I'm in control of my energy, and energy is abundance. So as I walk into this meeting, I'm going to bring the right energy. I'm going to set the tone, and I'm going to receive the energy that I crave from this experience. Why? Because I decided to. Because I set it up that way. Because I'm owning who I am. I'm owning my own power. And as I do that, the divine augments that power and nourishes and nurtures me. So yeah, why not? That physical trigger is a lovely little reminder. This is how I choose to show up. And this is a reminder for me. The third way to activate abundance is to work with what I call an abundance buddy. Most people call them accountability buddies, but you know me, I'm all about abundance. So this is somebody who loves you, who knows you, who understands what your priorities are, and maybe they understand your definition of human design, all of those little qualities that make you so unique and special and lovely. And so they can see when you're falling out of alignment with your human design. And remember, we were talking about a lot of it's wiggling, right? And so they can let you know, time to wiggle back, sweetie. You're a little out of alignment there. And that way you don't have to worry about, oops, I'm not even paying attention. And here I am back in my same old rut. This is someone who can remind you, whoop, time to get back into alignment. So step 5, celebrate your progress. This is a joyous unfolding of your amazing life. You are a unique expression of divine energy, here to play a vital role. You are needed and incredibly valuable. Thank you so much for bringing your light to all of us. Thanks for joining me today. I'll see you next time for the Abundance Journey.
You've been listening to the Abundance Journey Show with Elaine Starling. Visit theabundancejourney.com/podcast gifts to access today's gift, as well as gifts from our other guests. Tune in every week to activate abundance in your life and business. If something resonated with you, please share it with your friends so they can benefit too. Keep activating abundance, and we'll see you in the next episode.